Attention, fellow shinobi, prepare yourselves for a thrilling journey as we explore the untapped potential of the Inuzuka clan in the world of Naruto. Welcome to What If I Reincarnated as an Inuzuka? Part 1. A tale of survival, dreams, and ambitions in the midst of the chaotic shinobi world. Imagine being reborn as an Inuzuka without the iconic almighty system. How would you navigate the treacherous second, third, and fourth shinobi world walls? What dreams and goals would drive you? Will you become a beta weeb, captivated by the allure of the remarkable ladies that Naruto's world has to offer? Or will you rise above, surpassing even the main characters to achieve the pinnacle of the shinobi world? Join Yami Inuzuka as he embarks on an extraordinary quest for survival and the pursuit of his aspirations. But before we embark on this epic adventure, don't forget to engage with our channel. Smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that naughty bell to stay up to date with all our latest videos. Get ready, my fellow shinobi. The journey awaits. This is Omni Sensei, signing in. I woke up in a place I couldn't recognize. Uncertainty enveloped me as I grasped onto one undeniable truth. I had arrived here after my death. It felt like an eternity had passed while I remained trapped in this dark void, a purgatory or perhaps something even more sinister. In the midst of my confusion, flashes of memories haunted me. One memory, in particular, stood out, a flashback of a fateful moment. "Look out!" echoed in my mind, a warning that went unheard as I was ruthlessly struck by an intoxicated driver while strolling along a boulevard. I cautiously surveyed my surroundings, the abyss of darkness surrounding me. In the corner of my eye, I caught sight of something eerie, an assemblage of shadowy hands. Refusing to face the unknown, I instinctively averted my gaze, pressing onward with one thought repeating in my mind. "You've got to move, I've got to keep moving." With each step, I fervently pursued a glimmer of light. My feet carried me tirelessly until I finally reached it. Exhausted, I succumbed to darkness only to awaken to the sound of voices that I couldn't respond to, immobile and helpless. Time skip. 42 seconds old. Again, my eyes struggled to open, but to no avail. The distant voices reached my ears. "It's a boy, Miss Yun-san," one voice exclaimed with warmth. Then a second voice chimed in, filled with affection. "He is so cute. You have your father's eyes and my hair." Understanding my situation, I instinctively let out a wail, feigning the innocence of a baby. In this unfamiliar time and place, my survival hinged on concealing my true identity. Whether they would see me as a prodigy or a demon-infested child, I could not predict. Amidst my tears, a feminine voice tenderly proclaimed, "I already have a name for you, my baby. Your name is Yami." Time skip. Age 3 months. As time passed, I gradually uncovered the truth. I had been reincarnated into the world of Naruto, a realm I once knew solely from fanfictions. This realization solidified when I caught sight of the 3 carved heads on the mountainside, an iconic sight confirming my newfound reality. Time skip. Age 1 year old. Milestones came and went as I grew. At 5 months, I crawled, chakra coursing through my veins and facilitating rapid development. 6 months marked the utterance of my first word, "Mama." The tears of joy that streamed down my mother's face were both alien and familiar. By 8 months, I triumphantly took my first steps. In appearance, I possessed an unremarkable countenance, average features, black pupilless eyes, and slightly spiky brown hair. I played the role of an ordinary child, engaging with others and exuding patience, biding my time. Amidst this facade, I explored the depths of my chakra. Though unable to comprehend its quantity, I honed my ability to sense and discern the chakra of those I touched. Testing this on my mother, I discovered that her chakra levels were comparable, if not slightly smaller on my part. During my unremarkable birthday celebration, attended by a few of my mother's civilian friends, and only a couple of Inuzuka ninja, I surreptitiously gauged the chakra levels of the older children present. My reserve surpassed theirs, suggesting an above-average pool for a child my age, even when compared to my mother, a civilian or possibly a medic ninja. Time skip. Age 2 years old. As my ability to communicate flourished, I embarked on the path of honing my chakra control. Utilizing a couple of leaves from a modest backyard, I diligently practiced the leaf-sticking exercise. Ensuring my privacy, I retreated to the bathroom, confident that no prying eyes observed my endeavors. With focused determination, I achieved the remarkable feat of affixing up to 5 leaves onto my forehead. One day, driven by curiosity like any child, I mustered the courage to ask my mother a pressing question. "Mommy, where is my daddy? Everyone else has a daddy, don't I have a daddy?" An uncomfortable expression crept across my mother's face, betraying a hidden truth she struggled to share. With a tender tone, she hesitantly responded, "Well, honey." Observing my mother's easily readable emotions, I struck a sensitive chord, leaving her visibly nervous. I had to tread cautiously, avoiding any suspicion or potential dangers. Unveiling the truth about my father was crucial, as his lineage could potentially accelerate my growth in strength strength, whether he shared the Inuzuka heritage or possessed a different lineage. Misuno, my mother, lowered herself onto the couch, wearing a sad smile and speaking with a voice that cracked with brokenness, tears on the brink of her eyes. Well honey, about your father, he was a ninja from Konohagaka. Feigning wonderment, I quickly masked my true knowledge and played the role of an innocent child. Wow, that sounds cool. What's a ninja, mommy? I made sure not to reveal my depth of understanding, keeping it concealed within myself. Misuno appeared extremely uncomfortable, making no effort to hide her unease. Taking a calculated risk, I hoped this approach would yield favorable results. Sigh, tears began to well up as she spoke in a mournful voice. A ninja is a great hero who protects the village. She handled the situation better than I anticipated, showcasing her love for me. This was advantageous as a strained relationship with her would hinder my plans. The initial years were critical for my strategy to unfold smoothly. Was Daddy a strong hero? I inquired, yearning for more information. Sob sniff. Misuno struggled to hold back her tears as she replied. Overwhelmed by sorrow, she failed to provide the answers I sought. Impatience gnawed at me, tired of her sobbing and longing for the desired revelations. Utilizing feigned enthusiasm, the kind employed to deceive children, Misuno forced a fake smile and continued her explanation. Yes, he was strong. He was a chunin, a middle-ranked ninja. His name was Yami Inuzuka, and I named you after him to honor his memory. She paused momentarily before continuing, her voice strained. He died protecting everyone in the village. You weren't born yet. Hiding my disappointment was challenging when she disclosed his rank as a mere chunin, who likely perished in a failed mission. I had hoped for a more prestigious heritage, perhaps an Uchiha or Senju lineage. Nevertheless, I acknowledged that my situation surpassed that of an average civilian, albeit not by a significant margin. In truth, I had suspected Misuno to be a single mother from the beginning. While knowing my father's fate was important, I remained cautious, not readily accepting her words. In this world, everyone harbors secrets, and I must prepare myself for any unpleasant surprises, such as the sudden appearance of a supposedly deceased father, that could jeopardize my plans. Though unlikely, it is better to err on the side of caution. Now, it is time to embark on the next phase of my plan. Wow, I also aspire to become a ninja, just like Dad. It sounds incredibly cool. I need to acclimate her to the idea of me pursuing the path of a ninja, ensuring she doesn't forbid me from attending the academy. Fortunately, she is highly adaptable and submissive. My newfound mother wore an uncertain expression as she responded. Look, I will allow you to enter the ninja academy, but only if you manage to impress me. Sounds good, I exclaimed, beaming with excitement as I tightly embrace her, feigning overflowing affection. Yay, thanks mom, I'll make sure to impress you. 1 week later. Word had spread that the clan head had recently welcomed a daughter. We all attended the birth celebration, a customary event for clan heads upon the arrival of their firstborn. The venue was teeming with Inuzuka clan members, both civilian and ninja, accompanied by their faithful Ninken dogs. The restaurant was brimming with at least 500 people, a stark contrast to my intimate first birthday party that consisted of a mere 20 attendees. As the festivities grew monotonous, a mere 5 minutes in, I strained my ears, attempting to catch any useful information. Amidst the crowd, I overheard the clan head engaged in conversation with an individual who was unmistakably attempting to curry favor. The person seemed to possess an extraordinary talent for sycophancy. The unremarkable individual gushed, "What a delightful baby girl you have there, Inuzuka-sama. I am certain she will grow into a remarkable ninja. Might I inquire about her name?" The clan head appeared irritated, responding curtly, "Her name is Misuno. Now, would you kindly take your leave, or shall I instruct my dogs to escort you out? I have no desire for my daughter to be surrounded by beta males like yourself." Fear evident in his eyes, the individual hastily retreated. "Ah, so that little baby was Misuno, the mother of Kiba. Quite intriguing indeed. It seems I have some time before the 3rd and 4th ninja wars. I am uncertain whether the 2nd ninja war has already commenced, and my memory fails me as to whether Misuno was born before or after its onset. I lack a photographic memory, preventing me from recalling every detail preceding the events canonized in Naruto. Nonetheless, the precise timing will become clear once I join the academy. Time skip. Age 3 years old. I have made remarkable progress in my chakra control training. Now I can effortlessly affix leaves all over my face and arms, showcasing my improved mastery. My chakra reserves have also expanded, allowing me to maintain the leaf sticking exercise until approximately 5% of my total chakra is consumed. Should it decrease any further, I begin experiencing dizziness. Now that I have reached the age of 3, I have commenced jogging. The utilization of chakra truly works wonders for enhancing one's physical capabilities. Time skip. Age 4 years old. I have expanded my training regime to include push-ups and exercises on the park's monkey bars. My agility and stamina have reached levels unimaginable for an average individual from my previous Earth. In an attempt to perform the tree walking exercise, I tested my skills on the bathroom walls. Regrettably, my physical strength does not yet match my chakra control, rendering me unprepared. Furthermore, the principles of gravity in this world still elude me. Nevertheless, I have managed to apply the same concept to anchor my feet to the ground, granting me stability akin to walking. If someone were to strike me, I could withstand the blow by increasing the damage inflicted upon myself. Admittedly, this technique is far from perfect. Time skip. Age 5 years old. Finally, I have succeeded in mastering the tree walking exercise. As anticipated, I easily persuaded my mother to grant me permission to enroll in the academy. I fabricated a heartfelt desire to become stronger, emphasizing my determination to protect her and the village that I supposedly love. However, my concern for her and the village is nothing but a facade. This place is rife with propaganda and feigned affection. Itachi's annihilation of his own family stands as a testament to the fallacy of the Konoha village being akin to a harmonious family unit. Consequently, I hold no genuine attachment to anyone within the village. My sole focus lies in achieving immense strength, the strength that will propel me towards my ultimate goal, immortality. Time skip. Age 6 years old. Now I can finally attend the Ninja Academy, and I take pride in the progress I've made so far. My chakra control has improved to the point where I can effortlessly walk on water. My stamina, strength, and agility have reached a whole new level, far surpassing that of my mother, who is just an average civilian with no training to speak of. I've also developed the ability to sense chakra within a range of 5 meters when I focus my concentration. It's a valuable skill that gives me an advantage in understanding the power levels of those around me, except for Jinchuriki who possess immense chakra due to their tailed beasts. Recently, the clan caretakers summoned me. It's time for me to choose my Ninken, a special ninja dog that will become my loyal partner and guardian, following the revered traditions of the Inuzuka clan. The place where the Ninken are kept resembles a stable, but instead of horses, it houses dogs with chakra flowing through their veins. As I approach the area, a vigilant ninja guard calls out to me. I focus my senses and detect a flickering flame of chakra centered around his stomach, similar to mine. This indicates that he possesses a considerable amount of chakra, likely at the Chunin level. It becomes apparent that the Ninken hold great importance within the clan, as they are not entrusted to a mere genin guard, yet not significant enough to warrant the presence of a jonin. Amidst my observations, the guard's irritated expression catches my attention. "What's taking you so long, boy? Get inside already," he impatiently urges me. I respond with a sheepish smile, trying to appear innocent and enthusiastic. "Sorry, Guard-san. I'm just incredibly excited about finally getting my Ninken." The guard's condescending smile surfaces, mixed with a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. "I remember feeling the same way. Couldn't sleep the night before," he reminisces. I feign interest, playing along with his reminiscence. "Ha ha ha ha. Well, I'm heading inside now. Thanks, mister. No nerves left now." As I stepped into the bustling dog training camp, a kaleidoscope of puppies greeted my eyes. They came in all shades imaginable: fiery reds, oceanic blues, pristine whites, mysterious blacks, and vibrant oranges. It was a vibrant display of canine companions awaiting their destined partners. Driven by my quest to find the strongest pup, an idea struck me. I tapped into my chakra sense, extending my awareness to detect the one pulsating with the most potent energy. After a while, a white-furred beauty with captivating crimson eyes caught my attention. As I approached and offered my hand, the pup responded with an affectionate lick. "Well, Shiro, that shall be your name," I declared, drawing inspiration from his distinctive coat. It seemed naming creativity was a trait shared among clan members, as simplicity prevailed. With Shiro by my side, we proceeded to complete the necessary formalities, registering him as my loyal partner under the watchful eyes of the guards. Once the task was done, we embarked on our journey homeward. As we neared a modest one-story house, a sense of comfort enveloped me. It was a place filled with memories and warmth, a sanctuary amidst the bustling Inuzuka district. Time skip. Academy entrance. I opened my eyes, greeted by the morning light. Making my way to the bathroom, I caught my reflection in the mirror. My jet black hair, adorned with gentle spikes, mirrored Kiba's signature style. Pupilless black eyes stared back at me, their intensity hinting at untapped potential. Donning a hoodie, black ambu pants, and ninja sandals, I prepared myself for the day ahead. Accompanied by my mother, we embarked on the journey to the academy, a significant distance from our home. Although a hint of sadness lingered in her eyes, she mustered a reassuring smile. "No matter what path you choose, my dear, remember there's a world full of opportunities awaiting you. I'll always be there to support you," she whispered, her voice carrying unwavering love and understanding. With uncontainable excitement, I smiled brightly, my arms waving through the air. "Don't worry, Mom. I'm going to become a formidable ninja, someone who can protect you and so much more." Her sadness momentarily deepened, but she replied, "Of course, my dear. Of course, you will." Those words echoed in my heart as I bid her farewell. Goodbye, Mom, I chimed, embarking on a new chapter with determination etched into my every step. I made my way to the schoolyard, where fellow students had gathered under the watchful eye of our teacher. Just as the atmosphere settled, a sudden burst of speed announced the arrival of the third Hokage, gracefully appearing alongside our instructor. It was a relief to confirm that the second ninja war hadn't yet plunged the village into chaos. Good, we still had time. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the venerable Hokage, began his speech on the indomitable will of fire, leaving an undeniable impact on the young hearts and minds present. The words resonated with a profound sense of duty and camaraderie. Soon, our assignments to different classrooms were announced. I found myself in 1A, a mix of clan members and promising civilian kids. Taking my seat by the window, I scanned the room, but no familiar faces from the show caught my attention. Our teacher entered, lacking enthusiasm in his voice as he addressed us. Hello, everyone. Take a moment to look around you. Your peers in this room are now your comrades, your future brothers and sisters in arms, bound by a bond stronger than blood. Realizing that his message hadn't quite reached the class, he sighed and continued, all right, let's start with introductions. Stand before the class and share your name and dreams. Roll call began, each student stepping forward to fulfill their part. Among them were two other clan kids, twins hailing from the Sarutobi clan. The boy took the stage first, exuding confidence as he introduced himself. Hi, I'm Asutori Sarutobi. My dream is to become the Hokage. The children looked impressed, as if they beheld the next Hokage in the making. However, sensing his chakra, it was evident that he possessed only the amount expected of an academy student. Without the protective power of a raging beast within him, his path would likely be fraught with peril. Moreover, his arrogance and lack of training would be his undoing, relying solely on the Sarutobi lineage. Next in line was his twin sister, who appeared more reserved. Speaking in a calm tone, she shared, hello everyone. I'm Assume Sarutobi, and my dream is to support my brother in achieving his. A mere follower, I thought dismissively. She seemed devoid of personal aspirations, simply treading in her brother's shadow. Well, it was none of my concern. Without the burning drive and natural talent of a Kakashi or Itachi, she too would face an untimely demise. Now it was my turn. I summoned the practiced smile I had cultivated in my previous life, aimed at comforting my mother after my father's death. With feigned cheerfulness, I announced, hi, I'm Yami Inuzuka. My dream is to become a formidable ninja, protecting both my mother and the village I hold dear. Inwardly scoffing at the notion of dreams, I let out a cynical thought, as if I care about such trivialities. Yet, appearances mattered, and so I played the part. With the introductions concluded, the lunch break beckoned. Venturing out into the schoolyard, I caught sight of someone unmistakably recognizable from the anime. A smile stretched across my face as I approached, adopting a gentle tone. Hello there, mind if I join you? The game face was on. It was time to embark on this new chapter, blending seamlessly into the world I knew so well. With a friendly demeanor, I approached the young boy sitting on the ground, indulging in his boxed lunch. As his gaze met mine, I took in his complete appearance: blonde, spiky hair, captivating blue eyes, and a somewhat delicate countenance. This was none other than Minato Namikaze, the future fourth Hokage. But for now, he was just another orphan child. A warm smile adorned his face as he responded, yeah, sure, no problem. Maintaining my faux smile, I expressed my gratitude. Thank you. I don't know anyone in this academy, and when I saw you alone, I thought, hey, that guy looks friendly so. Minato chuckled lightly, his eyes gleaming with amusement. Ha ha ha, thanks. Actually, I was waiting for my friends. Ah, there they are. Turning my gaze, I spotted three individuals approaching us. I recognized them immediately, this generation's Ino Shikacho trio. The one with long, tied-back blonde hair and matching blue eyes spoke first. Sorry for making you wait, Minato. Chowser got hungry again, and we had to get him more food. Chowser Akimichi, the portly figure I assumed to be Choza, had his mouth full of chips as he managed to utter, munch munch showy. Sorry. Just then, Shiro, my faithful Ninkin, caught a whiff of the food and poked his head out from my hoodie, barking in Chowser's direction. Bark. Chowser's smile widened as he looked at Shiro. With kindness in his voice, he offered, hey there, little guy. Are you hungry? Chowser extended a handful of chips to my canine companion, which Shiro gratefully accepted. Sensing the opportune moment, I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Yami Inuzuka, and this is my Ninkin, Shiro. Inochi was the first to respond, saying, pleased to meet you, Yami-san. I'm Inochi Yamanaka, the one with sleepy-looking eyes and black hair, whom I presume to be Shikaku, nonchalantly added, yo, I'm Shikaku Nara, and the guy eating is Chowser Akimichi. Chowser offered a small wave and a simple greeting. Hello. Minato's smile persisted as he introduced himself, and my name is Minato Namikaze. Seizing the opportunity for small talk, I inquired, so, which class are you guys from? Minato responded cheerfully, were second-year students, part of Tour class. We engaged in conversations about our lessons, dreams, and aspirations, until the ringing bell signaled the end of our break. In the midst of our discussions, I discreetly assessed their chakra levels. Shikaku Nara high, at the level expected of an academy student. Inoichi Yamanaka high, academy level chakra. Chauza Akamichi low, genin level chakra. And then there was Minato, whose chakra surprised me. He possessed high genin level chakra, a remarkable feat for his age. It meant that as an orphan, he was born with academy level chakra, a stroke of luck and undeniable talent. He was different from me, a reincarnated individual who had trained in chakra since the age of 2. What a gifted individual he was. Perhaps he dedicated considerable effort to physical training, augmenting his chakra without relying on being a jinchuriki or any specialized chakra exercises. As I returned home that day, my mother informed me that a ninja from the Inuzuka clan had summoned me to the training grounds. After devouring my meal, I arrived at the training ground. There stood the guardian of the Ninken, a tanned man with a goatee and a Konoha headband adorning his forehead, concealing his hair. "Hey there, little pup," he greeted me. I glanced at him, feigning ignorance, and replied, "Yo, hey there, guard-san." He stared at me, his face adopting a nonchalant expression, before retorting, "My name is Gaku, you little squirt." Ignoring his outburst, I asked, "So, why did you summon me here, Gaku?" Exasperated, he sighed and regained his composure. Speaking in a calmer tone, he explained, "Anyway, I've been instructed to teach you the Inuzuka clan's taijutsu and ninjutsu. You'll come here every day after the academy, and we'll train the clan techniques until you've mastered them." I maintained my usual expression, nodding in understanding. Looking at my faithful Ninken, Shiro, I added, "Okay, Shiro, run alongside me." And so, I sprinted at maximum speed, pushing my limits as I ran and ran and ran. After approximately 5 grueling hours, I collapsed onto the ground, utterly exhausted. Surprisingly, Shiro lasted for 3 hours before succumbing to fatigue. Gaku's impressed gaze met mine as he remarked, "I expected you to sustain your maximum speed for no more than an hour. Turns out, you're already prepared for official training. Tomorrow, we'll skip the physical regimen and focus solely on the techniques. Your physical prowess has already reached genin level." Curious, I inquired, "Will we still engage in regular physical training?" Gaku nonchalantly shrugged and replied, "Not with me. You'll have to continue that on your own. I'm here solely to teach you the clan techniques." He turned away and began walking, calling out, "See you tomorrow. And don't forget to bring Shiro for tomorrow's training." With a swift shunshin, he vanished from sight. After taking a brief rest, I returned home and collapsed into a deep sleep, utterly drained. Time skip. 3 weeks later, I had made remarkable progress in mastering Inuzuka clan taijutsu and ninjutsu, including the four-legged technique and its variants. During lunch breaks, I often joined Minato and the Ino Shikacho trio, engaging in conversations about our lessons, dreams, and aspirations. From Shikaku, whose father led the intelligence division, I learned of Konoha's plans to launch an assault on the Dragonfly village. The world seemed fraught with tension, signaling the imminent onset of the Second Ninja War. However, for now, my focus was on the upcoming taijutsu sparring class at the academy. Time skip. Sparring class. The teacher addressed the class with his usual nonchalant tone. "Today, we shall engage in sparring. Over the past 3 weeks, you've been introduced to the fundamentals of taijutsu. There's no need to be apprehensive. I will ensure fair matchups." He proceeded to explain the rules. No ninjutsu or genjutsu, only taijutsu. Defeat occurred when a combatant was either incapacitated or forced out of the designated circle. Matches ensued, with civilian students facing each other, except for Asume, who handily defeated another civilian girl. My opponent was Asutori Saratobi, who entered the circle exuding a smug air of superiority. "You don't have to worry, Yami. I won't fight you at my full power as a Saratobi. We're comrades, after all," Asutori remarked, his words dripping with false camaraderie. I maintained a stoic silence, concealing my seething anger. The audacity of this individual to boast when his power barely amounted to anything was infuriating. Breathe in, breathe out. No need to succumb to anger. In times of crisis, I must remain calm. Getting enraged would only cloud my judgment, leaving me vulnerable. Remember, I'm not an anime protagonist with Nakama power-ups or plot armor. Anger serves only to dull the senses and make me an easy target. With a composed demeanor, I gently placed Shiro on the ground. I was ready. The teacher commanded, "All right, everyone, assume the unison sign." Stepping into the sparring circle, I locked eyes with Asutori, briefly forming the unison sign. The teacher's voice cut through the air. "Begin." As the teacher's words faded, I infused my leg muscles with chakra, propelling myself forward with explosive speed. To Asutori, I became an indiscernible blur, closing the distance in the blink of an eye. Launching a powerful kick, I redirected the chakra from the grounded leg to the earth, anchoring myself and adding extra force to the strike. Twisting my leg upon impact, I aimed to maximize the damage inflicted. Asutori's widened eyes revealed his inability to react in time. He couldn't block the incoming attack, and my foot collided forcefully with his stomach. Blood spurted from his mouth as he hurtled out of the circle, crashing onto the ground a staggering 20 meters away. The students stood in stunned silence, their expressions painted with disbelief. Asutori's sister, consumed by fury, lunged toward me, her intentions unmistakable. The teacher swiftly intervened, firmly gripping her shoulder and guiding her to one knee, quelling her righteous rage. The teacher then approached Asutori, and in a matter of seconds, they both vanished using Shunshin. Only the teacher returned, his gaze a mixture of anger and subtle killing intent enough to unsettle ordinary academy students, but not enough to affect me. His voice carried a hint of reproach as he demanded, "Why did you unleash such excessive power against Asutori?" Feigning shock and sorrow, I crafted a pained expression and spoke with a wavering voice. "I'm deeply sorry, Sensei. I didn't intend to exert such strength. It was my first time sparring, and I miscalculated. I never meant for this to happen. Please forgive me." The teacher's initial anger softened upon hearing my apology. The killing intent dissipated entirely as he responded, "I understand, but never employ this level of strength against your fellow classmates again. Do you understand?" I nodded earnestly, my voice resolute. "Hi, Sensei." Time skip. Age 7 years old. The momentous Second Great Ninja War had finally erupted. Despite the turmoil, I had no intentions of graduating for at least another year. I knew that as soon as I completed my training, I would be thrust into the chaos of war. During this year, I honed my body to perfection, immersing myself in Inuzuka techniques. I had already mastered the 3 academy jutsus, with a particular focus on the life-saving replacement jutsu. Through relentless practice, I achieved the ability to execute it seamlessly, without the need for hand seals. Additionally, I expanded my repertoire to include the physical transformation jutsu, moving beyond mere illusion-based techniques. Asutori, still recovering from the aftermath of my accidental display of overwhelming force, continuously challenged me during our monthly sparring sessions. Yet, victory eluded him every time. I couldn't help but wonder if I had left him with some form of brain damage, or if he was simply lacking in intelligence. It mattered little to me. Minato, a prodigious talent, had already graduated at the tender age of 8, under the tutelage of Jiraiya, his esteemed mentor. Now, I found myself sharing lunch solely with the Ino-Shikacho trio, as they had yet to complete their own training. Time skip. Age 8 years old. At long last, graduation day had arrived even amidst the ongoing war. If I couldn't survive in this conflict where cage-level shinobi were considered the strongest, how could I hope to endure the looming 4th Ninja War, where such powerful warriors were mere cannon fodder? With the Inuzuka techniques now fully mastered, I seized the opportunity to delve into medical jutsus, expanding my knowledge during the moments of respite. Although I had yet to grasp the intricacies of the medical palm technique, I diligently focused on refining my chakra control. When I entered the classroom, I took my seat and patiently awaited the arrival of my fellow students. As the room filled, I was taken aback by the presence of 2 familiar faces. Soon after, the teacher entered, concluding the arrival of the last students. Following the written and practical tests, those who failed were asked to leave the classroom, leaving only a few unfortunate civilian children. The teacher embarked on his graduation speech proclaiming, "Today, my students, you have successfully graduated from the academy. It has been an honor to guide you, the next generation of shinobi, who will protect our cherished Konoha and its citizens. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, it's time to announce the team placements. Team 1, Team 3, Yami Inuzuka, Assume Saratobi, and Asutori Saratobi." The outcome didn't surprise me, though it filled me with apprehension. I knew Asutori had focused solely on training, neglecting his studies. His written test results were likely abysmal, driven by his singular obsession of defeating me. As for his sister, she simply followed the herd, devoid of any noteworthy comment. The teacher continued, "Team 3, your Jonin sensei will be..." The teacher's words resonated in our ears, echoing through the classroom walls. "Your team's Jonin sensei will be Tsunade Senju," she declared. "She said for you guys to meet her at the hospital." Upon hearing this, a surge of anticipation propelled us forward, our determination unwavering. As my teammates and I left the classroom, an awkward tension filled the air. Despite the unfortunate circumstances, I realized the importance of maintaining a cordial relationship with my comrades. In times of war, trust and unity were paramount, for even the night could be a silent assassin, claiming lives without suspicion or inquiry. Blaming it on a supposed enemy ninja's sneak attack would suffice, as time was a luxury none could afford when engaged in battle. Lost in thought, I pondered a suitable approach to handle this delicate situation. Finally, with a blend of confidence and seriousness resonating in my voice, I addressed my team. "I am grateful to have all of you by my side." Asutori, though masked by a facade of confidence, seemed apprehensive, perhaps still traumatized by our initial confrontation. On the other hand, Assume responded with a snarky tone. "What's that supposed to mean?" The sheep finally exhibited a glimmer of courage, perhaps influenced by my victory over her brother. I retorted, "You all surpass every other person in that room combined." Despite my consistent triumphs over Asutori in Taijutsu matches, he continues to improve by leaps and bounds. In truth, this was an exaggeration. Asutori's Taijutsu skills barely surpassed those of a high genin, while his chakra levels remained average. As for Genjutsu, neither of us possessed noteworthy expertise. The Inuzuka clan, to which we belonged, focused more on medical techniques, poison usage, the art of flower arrangement, and the subtle art of seduction. Assume, on the other hand, boasted a solid grasp of low-level genin Taijutsu, and a moderately abundant chakra reserve. As for their ninjutsu repertoire, it remained a mystery, although fire-style ninjutsu might be within their grasp. Asutori scratched the back of his head upon hearing my praise, uncertainty coloring his voice as he uttered, thanks. Despite his uncertainty, I could discern his happiness, much like any child who receives a compliment. However, I continued to shower them with words of appreciation. "And assume, you are undoubtedly the strongest Kinochi in the classroom, excelling in every aspect of your abilities." She simply nodded, a faint trace of contentment betraying her stoic demeanor. Moving on, I began to discuss our new teacher. Whether she was a medical ninja or currently confined to the hospital due to illness remained uncertain. The legendary Sannin had yet to attain their well-deserved fame during this time. Suddenly, my gaze fell upon a young ninja, approximately 20 years old, awaiting us at the hospital's entrance. As his eyes met ours, nervousness tinged his voice. "Hey, excuse me, are you Team 3? Stepping forward, I assumed my role as the team's leader, silently affirming our bond. With a smile, I replied, "Yes, sir, we are." His relief was palpable as he continued, "Oh, okay, can you follow me? I will escort you to Tsunade-sama." We nodded in unison and trailed behind him. I observed him closely, noting his genin-level chakra reserves and his solitary nature, seemingly occupied with menial tasks. He didn't possess the aura of a medic nin, as they were highly valued on the front lines, and wouldn't be assigned mundane duties. In all likelihood, he was a genin from the genin corps. Eventually, we arrived at a white door on the 3rd floor. Its simplicity contrasted the weight of our expectations. A modest sign, reading "Only personnel allowed," adorned the entrance. With a gentle push, our guide ushered us inside. The room revealed a humble scene: a wooden table, a solitary chair, 2 windows, and a bookshelf brimming with medical knowledge. And there, in the midst of it all, sat Tsunade-sama, engrossed in perusing medical reports. Noticing the necklace adorning Tsunade's neck, it became clear that her brother was no longer among the living. As for Dan, their encounter must have been recent, establishing a connection that was still in its infancy. Raising her gaze from the reports, Tsunade tossed a small scroll to the genin who had accompanied us, her voice carrying a tinge of urgency. "You've completed your mission, ninja. Retrieve your payment from the mission building." The genin nodded and swiftly departed, closing the door behind him. Tsunade interlaced her fingers and focused her attention on us. A sigh escaped her lips as she spoke, aware of the limited time at hand. "All right, now, introduce yourselves, your names, likes, dislikes, and dreams." Asutori took the lead, speaking with conviction. "I am Asutori Saratobi. I enjoy the company of my sister and savoring barbecued meat. Smoke from cigars bothers me, and my dream is to become Hokage." He glanced in my direction, his gaze filled with determination. "But first, I must surpass a certain someone." Furrowing her brows, Tsunade looked at Asutori and uttered a single word: "Foolish." A trace of frustration appeared on Asutori's face, his desire to retort swiftly halted by his sister's intervention. She discreetly stepped on his foot. It was then Assume's turn to share. "I am Assume Saratobi. I find solace in the presence of my brother in tea ceremonies. I hold distaste for a certain someone and detest cigarette smoke. My dream is to assist my brother in achieving his own." Tsunade appeared unimpressed, waving her hand dismissively. Next, when my turn arrived, I offered a subtle smile and spoke softly. "My name is Yami Inuzuka. I cherish my ninkin, Shiro, and take pride in my clan and my mother. Arrogant individuals vex me, and my dream is to become a formidable ninja, protecting Konoha and those dear to me." It was a deliberate omission. I refrained from divulging any significant information or exposing weaknesses. The truth was, I held little attachment to the family I had here in this world or to Konoha. I had already loved and lost a family in my previous existence, making it difficult to embrace another and forsake the first. Moreover, Konoha was merely a gathering place for assassins, a sentiment that left me indifferent. The only merit it held was the opportunity it presented for my personal growth. Tsunade's gaze lingered on me as she remarked, "Interesting." She likely sensed my chakra, though whether she could discern my physical prowess solely through observation remained uncertain. Underestimating an upcoming member of the Sannin was a folly I refused to make. Continuing, she added, "Tomorrow, We will conduct the true Genin test to determine whether you'll return to the academy, join the Genin Corps, or acquire a Jonin teacher. Now, off you go." Just as we were about to depart, Tsunade called out, "Oh, I almost forgot." Turning back to face her, we watched as she tossed 3 small square papers in our direction. These are chakra papers. They determine your chakra affinity, aiding in accelerated learning of ninjutsu, and reduce chakra consumption for that specific element. Consider it my gift even if you end up in the Genin Corps. She then proceeded to explain the functions of each element, showcasing their usage by demonstrating on the chakra paper. The paper crinkled within her hands, a testament to her mastery. Exiting the room, I bid farewell to my teammates. As I walked, a realization settled within me. This small piece of paper held the power to shape my future path. Grasping it in my hand, I channeled my chakra into the paper, awaiting its response. Opening my hands, I observed the paper, revealing a cut that indicated my chakra affinity as wind. I couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. I had hoped for lightning affinity or perhaps even dual affinities. However, there was a silver lining: I didn't possess water affinity. After all, finding adequate water ninjutsu in the land of fire would prove challenging. Although the second Hokage excelled in water techniques, he was an extraordinary genius who even mastered the forbidden jutsu of reviving the dead. I doubted I would find a suitable teacher or achieve the same level of mastery in water style. Nevertheless, I needed to prepare for tomorrow and devise a plan. While I wasn't certain about the specific test, I would give my utmost effort to be ready, even if it deviated from the traditional bell test. Tsunade's Bov. As I watched the kids depart, their responses echoed in my mind. The Sarutobi twins, with their straight black hair, short for the boy and long for the girl, and brown eyes, both possessed oval-shaped faces. The boy, Asiatori, harbored grand dreams akin to Nawaki, yet lacked the necessary skills to support such aspirations. Thoughts of my brother, lost on a mission prior to the war, nearly brought me to tears. Sighing, I contemplated Assume, the Sarutobi girl, an average individual whose sole ambition revolved around assisting her brother. There was a hint of animosity within her, directed at the Inuzuka child. Such resentment could prove detrimental both in the upcoming Genin test and future conflicts. Then, there was the Inuzuka boy. He lacked Jinchuriki status, but his chakra reserves rivaled those of an average Jonin. Combined with his precise control and stable chakra, he was a formidable force, almost a monster. Even his physical strength surpassed that of most individuals. However, his lack of experience prevented him from fully harnessing his potential. His inexperience was evident in his gait, betraying his status as a novice. Skilled Chunin and higher-ranked ninjas possess a distinct way of walking to prevent medics from estimating their true physical capabilities. In a ninja battle, it's crucial not to reveal even the slightest amount of information. Nonetheless, his body strength placed him at the Chunin level. That child truly possessed remarkable talent. Even his wolf puppy exhibited the prowess of a high-level Genin. I had agreed to take on this team primarily out of respect for Sarutobi-sensei. Furthermore, I was the only one among his students who hadn't yet led a Genin team. Now, it seemed intriguing to have these Genin students under my tutelage. Well, I should wrap things up. I wouldn't want to keep my new friend, Dan, waiting. Time skip tomorrow. Tsunade's Bov. As I rose from my slumber, thoughts of my pleasant date with Dan last night lingered in my mind. I proceeded with my morning routine, showering, donning my Jonin uniform, and then headed to the hospital to notify the nurses. They were to inform my Genin team members that they should meet me at Training Ground 3. While I awaited their arrival, I concealed myself within the surroundings, testing their spatial awareness. However, I maintained a constant chakra presence, ensuring I wasn't completely hidden. I observed the Sarutobi siblings arriving 30 minutes prior to the designated time, while the Inuzuka child appeared just 5 minutes ahead. I overheard their conversation. Assume was the first to speak, scolding Yami. "Hey, you're late. What if the teacher had already been here? You would have failed." Yami, sporting an utterly disinterested expression, retorted, "A black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the scenic route. Besides, I'm still 5 minutes early, and if the teacher had an issue, she would have already informed me." As Yami's gaze fell upon me, he addressed me with a respectful tone. "Right, Tsunade-sensei." Impressed by his tracking abilities as an Inuzuka, I swiftly utilized the Shunshin technique to appear before them. Joining my hands together, I began explaining the test, showcasing the 2 bells in my possession. "All right, Genin, I'll clarify the test. Your objective is to seize one of these bells before lunch. Failure to do so means either returning to the academy or joining the Genin Corps. Let the test commence." The Sarutobi twins immediately vanished into hiding, while the Inuzuka child remained motionless in his spot. Curiosity evident on my face, I inquired, "What are you waiting for?" Meeting my gaze, he gently set down his puppy before nodding at it. Then, with a glimmer of determination in his eyes, he replied, "I want to ascertain the distance between us." General Polv. Four-legged technique. Yami's eyes narrowed, his nails transformed into claw-like extensions, and his canines elongated into fangs. "This guy is quite arrogant," Tsunade thought to herself. Rushing toward her on all fours, Yami displayed speed comparable to that of a low-level jonin. Observing his approach, Tsunade scoffed and, when he was within arm's reach, swiftly delivered a powerful punch to his stomach. Bam! He crashed into a tree. That should teach him a lesson, Tsunade thought, satisfied. However, when she glanced at the tree, only a log remained. Substitution, Tsunade deduced. In the next moment, she heard the sound of wind slicing through the air, and witnessed a barrage of kunai and shuriken hurled at her from a nearby tree. With deft movements, she skillfully dodged them all, pinpointing the Inuzuka child as the source. He charged toward her on all fours, closing the distance rapidly. Prepared to counter his attack with a strong punch, Tsunade suddenly sensed a presence behind her. Reacting instinctively, she delivered a swift kick straight into the figure's stomach. However, it blocked her strike with a single hand, then jumped back to lessen the impact. Simultaneously, the Yami in front of her also leaped backward and transformed into a ninken. Tsunade turned her gaze behind her, discovering the Inuzuka child nursing a swollen left arm. With a critical tone, she reproached Yami. "That was quite reckless of you." Yami glanced back at her, pointing two fingers in her direction, each finger attached to a bell with chakra strings. "Yes, but it was worth it. He had the ninken act as him, throwing projectiles at me while he transformed into a kunai, and waited for the opportune moment. What a brilliant mind. But now, let's see his character," Tsunade pondered, sighing. "Well, now you possess two bells, one for yourself, and one for one of them. Choose who will pass, you have until lunch." "I wonder if he will choose one of them or none," Tsunade mused. Directing her attention toward a tree, Tsunade declared, "You can come out now." The Sarutobi twins leaped down from the tree, wearing shocked and concerned expressions. They had been unable to witness the fight clearly, and it had all concluded in a mere 5 seconds. Holding kunai in their hands, their gaze fixed on the Inuzuka child, indicating their readiness to fight him for the bells. Tsunade sighed, feeling disappointed. Then, she turned her gaze to the Inuzuka child. He glanced at the bells, tossing them toward the Sarutobi twins while stating, "I don't want to see us fight as a team. You guys can pass. I'll wait another year." This act of selflessness left Tsunade astonished. Is this the embodiment of the will of fire that Sensei always talks about? Tsunade wondered. After a brief moment of surprise, Tsunade regained her composure and stated, "Well then, all of you pass. From this moment on, you are all ninjas of Konoha." Tsunade then approached Yami to tend to his injured arm. As she neared him, she whispered, "You will become a great ninja one day." After healing Yami, Tsunade spoke calmly, "We will gather here tomorrow to begin training. Today, you can all go home and rest." Yami spoke. Arriving home, I couldn't help but examine my swollen left hand. Even with Tsunade holding back, her punch had left a considerable impact. If she had struck me at full power, it would have been fatal. I silently expressed gratitude that she showed restraint. This is the same legendary Shinobi Madara once toyed with. Although most of my plan went smoothly, the final part didn't go as expected. I had intended to snatch the bells using the chakra strings, and swiftly retreat unharmed, while Shiro provided a distraction. Fortunately, I didn't have to resort to my contingency plan involving explosive tags. At least I managed to put on a convincing act in front of the others. Hopefully, the twins won't harbor any ill intentions towards me during a slumber. Exhausted, I took a shower and collapsed into bed, succumbing to weariness. Time skipped the next day. I woke up, got dressed, and enjoyed a hearty breakfast with my ninken. Together, we made our way to the training ground. The Sarutobi siblings were already there, arriving early as usual. I decided to wait in a tree until it was precisely the meeting time. Walking towards the group, I acted as if I had just arrived. Tsunade wasted no time berating me. "Hey, you're late." I simply shrugged my shoulders, dismissing her comment. I encountered an elderly man on the road who needed help. Besides, I'm not late, I arrived exactly on time. She pouted and turned her head away. Honestly, kids these days. Attempting to lighten the mood, I began discussing what Tsunade might teach us that day, engaging in playful banter with Asutori. We exaggerated our expectations, eagerly anticipating the training session. After 3 minutes, Tsunade finally appeared. Without delay, she spoke up. "Today is the only day I can directly teach you. I'll be occupied at the hospital, so for the next week, my clone will take over. After that, we'll head to the land of rivers and join the front lines against the village hidden in the sand." Asutori blurted out something foolish, questioning our destination. Why are we going to the land of rivers if we're fighting the sand village? Tsunade regarded him as if he were ignorant. Why would a major village engage in a battle within their territory when they can wage it on the land of a minor village situated between them? It's not like a minor village can hold off two great villages. I sighed inwardly, feeling disappointed with Asutori's lack of understanding. Tsunade continued, well, anyway, first I'll fetch a scroll from the library containing a C-rank jutsu that aligns with your elemental affinity. Tell me your chakra nature, and I'll find a suitable jutsu. Without hesitation, I declared wind style. Great breakthrough. Asutori followed, fire style. Great fireball. Lastly, Assume spoke up, fire style. Phoenix flower. Tsunade nodded and performed a hand sign, summoning a shadow clone. Retrieve the jutsu scrolls from the Chunin library, she commanded. The clone acknowledged the order and disappeared with a shunshin. Tsunade turned her attention back to us. Alright, let's begin with chakra control. Asutori, Assume, come with me to the pond. Yami, you'll start with the chakra strings. Try extending them, creating more, and lifting heavier objects. For the next 30 minutes, I focused on improving my chakra strings. Gradually, I managed to extend them by an additional 3 inches. Tsunade's clone returned, handing me my scroll before proceeding to deliver scrolls to the twins. Soon after, I assumed Tsunade had arrived, but it was her clone. Well, then, let's begin. I'll oversee your progress, the clone declared. I maintained a composed expression and calmly addressed Tsunade. Actually, Sensei, can we discuss medical ninjutsu? I believe it would be more beneficial for me. She frowned, questioning my decision. Why? Do you think you can handle chakra control on your own? Wearing an innocent expression, I replied. Arriving at the bathhouse, I proceeded to the men's changing room, discarding my clothing and wrapping a towel around my waist. Shiro followed me obediently, while Asutori joined shortly after, also clad in a towel. As we settled in, we could hear the girls entering their designated area, separated by a bamboo wall. Suddenly, Asutori leaned in and whispered mischievously, "Hey, give me a boost. I want to take a peek." He was referring to the girl's side, clearly not considering the use of chakra to walk up walls. While the idea sounded entertaining, I had no desire to incur Tsunade's wrath. I needed to find an alternative source of amusement. Staring at him with disdain, I retorted, "You want to peek at your sister, you creep." His panicked expression betrayed his true intentions as he blurted out, "What? No, I meant peek at Tsunade." Boom. The bamboo wall crashed down, revealing an infuriated Tsunade, draped only in a towel, who proceeded to pummel Asutori mercilessly. Enjoying the fleeting view for a brief moment, I tactfully made my retreat. Returning home, I dedicated myself to learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu and subsequently retired for the night. Time skip 1 week later. Throughout the week, I pushed myself to the absolute limit, training for approximately 16 hours each day, aided by my shadow clones. Each clone had its designated task. Clone 1 focused on perfecting the Great Breakthrough Jutsu, aiming to perform it without the need for hand signs. While I couldn't eliminate the signs, I managed to reduce them from 5 to 3. Clone 2 dedicated to mastering the Shunshin technique, a jutsu I discovered in the Genin library. Under Tsunade's guidance, I honed my skills, achieving proficiency in short-distance teleportation. Additionally, an idea for a new jutsu sprouted within me, which I plan to explore at a later time. Clone 3 engaged in chakra string training, expanding my control to extend a string from each finger to a length of 2 meters, 6'5". This exercise significantly enhanced my chakra control. Clone 4 learned the fundamentals of medical ninjutsu from Tsunade's clone, specifically the mystical palms technique, allowing me to heal minor cuts and scrapes. Clone 5 devoted to training my ninken, bringing them to a skill level equivalent to a low chunin. Every evening, I meticulously dispelled the clones one by one, their accumulated experiences merging with my own. Additionally, I engaged in the arduous task of walking up a mountainside while shouldering a boulder larger than my stature. This exercise simultaneously bolstered all aspects of my abilities. With the aid of the shadow clones, my training speed became monstrous. As for my teammates, they made notable progress as well. Asutori had achieved the rank of low chunin in Taijutsu, displaying high genin level chakra control. He also mastered both the fireball and phoenix flower jutsu in addition to water walking. Asume's stats mirrored her brother's, except for her Taijutsu, which remained at a high genin level. Her chakra control surpassed his, and she, too, learned both fire-based jutsu. Though they didn't train as intensely as I did, the assistance of shadow clones allowed me to surpass them by an insurmountable margin. Tsunade arrived to congratulate us on a fruitful week of training. She acknowledged our remarkable progress, her gaze lingering on me for a moment. Then, she continued, however, before you can join the front lines of the war, you must endure one final trial. As Tsunade uttered those words, she motioned for us to follow her. We complied, trailing behind her as we made our way toward the T&I department building. Upon arrival, an Anbu guard acknowledged Tsunade's presence and opened the door for us. We entered the building and descended the stairs, the sound of anguish screams echoing from the imprisoned individuals surrounding us. Help US. Please get US out. I already told you everything. Please let me go. The desperate pleas reverberated through the air, leaving the twins visibly shaken. Even I, though unaccustomed to such scenes, focused on the trial Tsunade-sensei had mentioned. I could sense what it might entail. Guiding us toward a particular cell, Tsunade directed our attention to 3 individuals whose limbs were bound and broken. Their mouths were gagged, tears streaming down their faces. Tsunade's expression remained cold as she revealed their identity. These were Cloud Village genin who infiltrated a caravan as spies. Unfortunately, we cannot spare our resources for bandit extermination due to the ongoing war. She distributed a kunai to each of us and uttered the chilling command, devoid of any usual emotions. Kill them. The twins stood frozen in shock, kunai gripped tightly in their trembling hands. But I carried out the task, approaching one of the captives and swiftly severing their throat with a single motion of the kunai. It was efficient, devoid of pain. As I looked into the lifeless eyes of the fallen genin, a momentary distortion passed over my reflection in their gaze. No way am I letting myself die. My vision cleared, revealing the lifeless body before me. My face stared back at me, cold and soulless. Tsunade-sensei's gaze met mine, and she uttered a simple statement. You can go home if you want. Her voice lacked pride or any particular emotion. It was a mere statement of fact. Okay, I responded, my voice devoid of any lingering sentiment. Instead of heading straight home, I veered towards the weapon shops. Recognizing my headband, they granted me access to exclusive ninja weapons. I spent nearly all of my money and savings, stocking up on various tools. Paper bombs, additional kunai and shuriken, a gas mask, and 2 storage scrolls, one for basic medical supplies and food, the other brimming with extra weapons. Preparedness was paramount. Upon returning home, I greeted my worried mother, engaging in a brief conversation before retiring for the night. Time skipped tomorrow, morning arrived, and I followed my routine of showering and eating breakfast. My mother's worried expression was evident as she contemplated the imminent war and its risks. Hugging her, I stepped outside, and she waved at me with tears in her eyes. I waved back and began my journey towards the village gate, arriving several minutes early. The twins were already present, dark circles under their eyes, signs that they had hardly slept. No words were exchanged between us. We waited in silence for Tsunade to appear. Right on schedule, Tsunade emerged, nodding at us before we embarked on our journey toward the land of rivers. Seeking to lighten the mood, I struck up a conversation with my teammates, discussing potential formations for when we encountered enemy forces. It was then that Shiro, concealed within the hood of my hoodie, barked, alerting me to the presence of nearby enemies. His bark was a signal. 1 lick meant we were being followed, while multiple licks indicated we were surrounded. I relayed this information to Tsunade-sensei, and she responded, you guys fight them to test your teamwork. If there is any jonin, I will take care of them. With Tsunade's directive in mind, we prepared ourselves for an ambush. I and Asutori planned to execute a combined jutsu once the enemy passed by. Aware of the approaching scouts, wearing Sand Village headbands and exuding Chunin-level chakra, I remained vigilant for any surprises. I signaled Shiro, my faithful ninkin, to watch out for potential attacks from behind. A kunai to the back of the skull could prove fatal. Inuzukas possessed a unique bond with their canine companions, allowing them to detect such threats. As the enemy squad neared, I emerged from my concealed position in a tree, fixing my sights on their running figures. Gathering my chakra, I unleashed my jutsu, invoking the power of wind style, with a technique known as Great Breakthrough. However, one of the Chunin sensed something amiss and swiftly pivoted, erecting an earth-style oath wall to shield against my attack. His experience in warfare became evident as he expertly countered my jutsu. Glancing sideways at Asutori, I expected him to contribute with a fireball jutsu. Yet, he appeared frozen, his gaze fixed upon his hands. It seemed I would have to face the challenge alone. Among the enemy ranks, there stood a puppeteer, a wielder of a wind fan, and 2 ninjas, the latter armed with kunai. Determined to escalate the encounter, I dropped to all fours, Shiro leaping onto my back. Through the Inuzuka style, we transformed into a colossal double-headed wolf, a fearsome sight indeed. Utilizing the 4-legged technique, my claws lengthened, fangs sharpened, and agility heightened despite the imposing form. The 4 Chunin wore expressions of surprise as I lunged into action. Channeling chakra to enhance my physical abilities, I vanished from their line of sight, reappearing behind the ninja wielding the fan. With a single swipe of my claws, he was dispatched. The remaining 2 ninjas retaliated with an Earth-style Earth Gun jutsu, but I effortlessly evaded their attacks, employing a substitution jutsu with a massive log. Instantly, I materialized behind them, eliminating the puppeteer before sinking my teeth into the other 2 ninjas, who quickly responded with sand substitutions, and constructed Earth-style earth walls in an attempt to trap me within an earthen dome. The limitations of my size became apparent, a formidable advantage in one-on-one battles, but a burden in group encounters. The exhausted ninjas seemed to have me cornered, but I dispelled my transformation, wasting no time. Shiro and I unleashed the Wolf Fang technique, spinning at high speeds. I inflicted severe injuries upon my designated target, while the other nimble opponent managed to evade Shiro's attack. Swiftly activating the 4-legged technique once more, I maneuvered behind the remaining adversary, delivering a decisive blow with a kunai, piercing their skull. The lifeless body collapsed to the ground, but I remained on guard, sensing a presence behind me. Reacting swiftly, I swung my kunai backward, only to have my wrist seized by a firm grip. "Relax, Yami," Eero03, a familiar voice assured me. My shoulders slumped, and I released a heavy sigh. That was our code, ensuring no one could impersonate us using transformation techniques. Checking my chakra reserves, I noted approximately 80% remaining. The substitution jutsu consumed about 10%, Great Breakthrough accounted for 6%, while the subsequent techniques cost approximately 4% each. Inuzuka techniques, despite their potency, proved to be less chakra intensive. Reflecting on my actions during the battle, I berated myself for the poor decisions made in the heat of the moment. Had I employed my taijutsu and ninjutsu more strategically, I could have achieved the same results with far less chakra expenditure. Tsunade's gaze met mine, and she commended my performance in my inaugural life or death encounter. Her reassurance reminded me not to dwell on the mistakes I had made. Ordinarily, a genin's first lethal engagement would involve bandits, but I had surpassed expectations by confronting and defeating Fortunen. Turning her attention to the twins, Tsunade approached them, delivering a resounding slap to both of their faces, signaling her disapproval. Tsunade's reprimand was stern and forceful, silencing the twins and bringing them back to reality. The gravity of their actions sank in, realizing that their negligence could have cost me my life. No longer able to ignore the consequences, they tearfully offered their apologies. Suppressing my simmering anger, I put on a smile, graciously accepting their words of remorse. Deep within, however, I couldn't help but restrain the urge to punish them for their incompetence. In a battlefield scenario, their lack of vigilance would have spelled my demise. Resuming our journey toward the land of rivers, an uneasy silence hung over our group. As night fell, we made camp and settled in for much-needed rest. Tsunade took the first watch, while I assumed the responsibility of the second shift, knowing the twins were sleep-deprived and unfit for the task. When morning arrived, I roused the twins from their slumber, and with tears in their eyes, they earnestly apologized once more. Masking my lingering frustration, I wore a forgiving expression and accepted their apology. After all, we needed to maintain cohesion within our team. The remainder of our journey proceeded without incident, devoid of any disturbances. Eventually, we reached the Konoha camp, a sprawling expanse of countless tents. Ninja littered the grounds, some recuperating, while others tended to their injuries under the care of medical personnel and doctors. Spotting the camp leader, Sakumo, he approached Tsunade and engaged her in conversation, expressing relief at our safe arrival. He briefed her on the current state of affairs, mentioning the notorious Chiyo's development of new poisons, and the involvement of the Ichibi Jinchuriki on the battlefield. Sakumo acknowledged his capability to restrain the Jinchuriki, but lamented his inability to eliminate him due to Chiyo's presence. Furthermore, rumors circulated about the third Kazekage and Ibizo, fortifying the borders against the Stone Village. These were the latest updates from the border since Tsunade's absence. Turning his attention to our team, Sakumo scrutinized us. Tsunade appeared somewhat bored by the whole situation and responded nonchalantly, acknowledging the twins' need for adjustment while expressing confidence in my readiness for war as an Inuzuka. Directing his gaze squarely at me, Sakumo couldn't help but make a comment, seemingly annoyed by the ability of seasoned ninjas to gauge one's strength. Tsunade, her eyes filled with a hint of pride, explained that it was I who found her, not the other way around. With that, she entrusted me to Sakumo's care. Accepting the responsibility, Sakumo offered me a reassuring smile and shared his intelligence report. According to his information, the Sand Village was planning to launch an attack in 2 days. Advising me to rest, he acknowledged the imminent challenges and the need to prepare for the impending confrontation. After an intensive day of preparation, which included refining my Earth-style Earth Wall technique and devising battle strategies, the momentous day of the battle had arrived. Clad in the standard Konoha uniform, I had a special pocket added at the back to accommodate Shiro, ensuring his safety amidst the chaos. The village authorities had emphasized the importance of remaining vigilant, cautioning us to be prepared for potential threats within our ranks. To distinguish friend from foe, we were equipped with a constantly changing secret code. Additionally, Tsunade-sensei provided us with antidotes she had personally concocted. Now, surrounded by a formidable force of approximately 700 Konoha ninjas, we advanced toward the battlefield. My positioning was strategic, avoiding the immediate front lines to minimize the risk of being the primary target. Among the assembly were 200 genin, mostly from the Genin Corps, 450 Chunin, and approximately 50 Jounin. The dwindling numbers were a sobering reminder of the casualties suffered in previous battles and poison-related incidents. As we reached a clearing, the enemy ninja came into view, their presence unnerving. Taking the lead, Tsukumo swiftly dispatched 20 adversaries in a matter of seconds, with his exceptional swordsmanship. Sensing danger from the sand village, he expertly severed an approaching sand wave, leaping back to avoid drawing his comrades into the crossfire. Then, as if on cue, chaos erupted. Jutsus of various elements surged through the air, manifesting as earth and water dragons, wind bullets, and torrents of water. Seeking shelter and summoning my inner strength, I created an earth wall and took refuge behind it. Fear coursed through me, but I steadied my mind, reminding Shiro, safely tucked away in my specially tailored pocket, to remain vigilant against potential sneak attacks. Gripping a kunai tightly, I activated the four-legged technique, heightening my agility and senses. Suddenly, a surge of immense chakra headed in my direction. Reacting swiftly, I emerged from behind the earth wall, confronted by an incoming earth dragon jutsu. With split-second timing, I summoned a larger Earth-style earth wall, using it as a platform to vault over the jutsu, while the dragon's force obliterated the wall in its wake. Undeterred, I pressed on. Ahead, 6 sand ninja locked their gazes on me, moving in my direction. Their advance, however, was halted by a fireball jutsu hurtling toward them. Seizing the opportunity, I channeled my wind-style great breakthrough into the flames, intensifying their power, and obliterating the earth wall raised in defense. 4 of the enemy combatants displayed signs of injury. Seizing the moment, I launched 4 kunai at them, only for 2 to be expertly blocked. To counter this setback, I had rigged the blocked kunai with explosive tags, timed to detonate upon contact with the ground. The ensuing explosions claimed the lives of 5 adversaries, leaving one severely injured and on his knees. Without hesitation, I flung a kunai at his head, piercing his eye socket and ensuring his demise. In the chaos, I felt the ground beneath me shifting ominously. Reacting instinctively, I leaped backward, narrowly avoiding an unknown threat. Swiftly, I retrieved a paper bomb from my arsenal, hurling it toward the protruding hands emerging from the ground. The ensuing explosion silenced whatever danger lurked beneath. In that critical moment, Shiro's warning instincts alerted me to danger, prompting me to instinctively duck. A sword whizzed by, narrowly missing my head. Seizing the opportunity, I leaped forward, swiftly turning to face a sand ninja wielding a katana, bearing down on me with unyielding determination. Reacting with lightning reflexes, I brandished a kunai, successfully blocking his sword strike. Capitalizing on the momentum, I feigned a momentary loss of grip, allowing the kunai to seemingly slip from my grasp and be thrown back. Seizing the opening, I jumped back, using my chakra to secure the kunai to my fort. Swiftly retrieving another kunai, I deftly blocked the next swing of his blade. This time, as if my arms were being overpowered, I employed the kunai affixed to my foot to deliver a precise strike to his leg, eliciting a pained cry as he recoiled. Seizing the opportunity presented, I signaled Shiro, who promptly emerged from his concealed pocket. The battle raged on, and I stood ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. In a swift display of skill, I launched my kunai into the air, followed by the activation of the wind-style great breakthrough. As the gust of wind surged forward, propelling me with renewed speed, I deftly caught the kunai mid-air. However, my keen senses detected something amiss, a discrepancy in the chakra signature of the airborne weapon. Reacting swiftly, I hurled another kunai toward the incoming threat from my left. The resounding clang of metal meeting metal confirmed the successful block, revealing the sword-wielding adversary now brandishing my kunai, swiftly closing the distance between us. Yet, fate had its plan. Just as the enemy was mere inches away from me, his advance was abruptly interrupted by a ferocious strike from Shiro, his wolf fang technique piercing the opponent's right side, causing a profuse bleed. Seizing the opportune moment, I swiftly launched a kunai aimed for the enemy's head, sealing his fate as his lifeless body collapsed to the ground. Taking a brief respite, I conjured an earth wall, using it as a momentary shield to gather my breath. However, my reprieve was short-lived as a puppet with multiple arms and legs emerged from the sandy terrain, hurtling toward me. Reacting with instinctive speed, I unleashed another wind-style great breakthrough, shattering the puppet into pieces. Yet, to my astonishment, the disassembled parts transformed into an array of blades dripping with lethal poison, hurtling toward me with deadly intent. With split-second decision-making, I summoned an Earth-style Earth Wall, creating a formidable barrier that intercepted and trapped the poisonous blades. Sensing the presence of another adversary, I turned my attention to a ninja emerging from the sand approximately 20 meters away. He stood alongside a puppet resembling a shield, his chakra resonating with the prowess of a Jounin, despite his outward appearance as a Chunin. Locking eyes with me, he smirked, addressing me as a little genius tree hugger. Utilizing non-verbal communication, I signaled Shiro to initiate a stealthy attack. Capitalizing on the distraction caused by Shiro's imminent assault, I launched my own attack, channeling the power of the wind-style great breakthrough. However, the cunning foe deflected my onslaught with the shield puppet, blocking the full force of my technique. In a synchronized move, Shiro's attack pierced through the enemy's defenses, impaling him with a joint blade imbued with potent poison. The Jounin adversary whimpered, his strength failing as he collapsed to the ground, blood staining the earth beneath him. In a swift motion, I launched my kunai Skylord and called upon the power of wind-style great breakthrough. The gusts propelled me forward, while my eyes keenly tracked the trajectory of the thrown weapon. Sensing that the airborne kunai was a mere decoy, I anticipated an approaching chakra signature from my left. Reacting with precision, I hurled a kunai in its direction, the sound of clashing metal confirming its interception. The sword-wielding sand ninja, now wielding my kunai, charged toward me. Just as he closed the distance, Shiro's agile form unleashed a devastating Warfang attack, striking the sand ninja's right side, and leaving him clutching a profusely bleeding wound. Seizing the opportune moment, I swiftly flung a kunai toward his head, sealing his fate as his lifeless body crumpled to the ground. Seeking a momentary respite, I erected an earth wall, allowing myself a brief breather. However, my reprieve was short-lived as a puppet, adorned with 6 arms and 2 legs, emerged from the sand, hurtling towards me. Reacting instinctively, I called upon wind-style great breakthrough once again, shattering the puppet into pieces. Yet, the disassembled puppet's joints and head transformed into lethal blades dripping with poisonous intent. With swift reflexes, I summoned an Earth-style Earth Wall, causing the blades to embed themselves harmlessly into the protective barrier. Amidst the chaos, my senses detected the emergence of a ninja from the sand, positioned approximately 20 meters, 65-7 away. My gaze locked onto him, and he was accompanied by a puppet bearing the appearance of a shield with 4 limbs. Despite possessing Chunin-level chakra, his formidable presence and skill indicated that he was unquestionably a Jounin. Flashing a sinister smile, he addressed me with condescension, remarking, Well, don't we have a little genius tree hugger here?" The battle intensified, and I prepared myself for the next chapter of this harrowing confrontation. Seizing the opportune moment, I discreetly signaled Shiro to launch a stealthy attack on the puppeteer. As Shiro swiftly moved in, I too unleashed the power of wind-style great breakthrough, aimed directly at our common adversary. However, the puppeteer swiftly defended himself, employing the shield puppet to block my assault. Simultaneously, Shiro's attack connected, impaling the puppeteer with a joint blade tainted by insidious poison. His pain cries echoed through the battlefield as he collapsed, surrounded by a pool of his blood. Maintaining an air of calmness that unsettled the puppeteer, I met his shocked gaze. Contrary to his expectations, I held no blind rage within me. After all, Shiro was merely a dog, a loyal companion, but not worth sacrificing my life for. My attention shifted to the puppeteer, who controlled the shield puppet with one hand, while the other manipulated various puppet parts, their blades laced with deadly poison. It was clear that this encounter would prove challenging, especially considering my diminished chakra reserves, hovering around a mere 35%. Amidst my contemplation, a figure emerged from the earth, wielding a sword that swiftly severed the puppeteer's arm. A cry of agony escaped his lips, filling the air. The newcomer revealed himself to be a Konoha ninja, bearing the unmistakable chakra signature of a Jounin. "Seems like you sand ninjas are rather oblivious to your surroundings," the Konoha Jounin taunted the puppeteer. Plunging his sword to the ground, he deftly maneuvered through hand signs, conjuring forth the fiery power of fire-style fire missile. The puppeteer instinctively positioned the shield puppet as a defense, but despite its valiant effort, it crumbled under the intense onslaught. Nevertheless, the puppeteer utilized the distraction to employ a substitution technique, disappearing. Sensing the puppeteer's chakra lingering in his substituted location, I swiftly unleashed wind-style great breakthrough in that direction, prompting the Konoha Jounin to give chase. Turning my attention to Shiro, I surrounded us with an Earth-style Earth Wall, creating a protective barrier. Retrieving the antidote painstakingly crafted by Tsunade, I administered it to Shiro, observing as his condition improved. Determinedly, I extracted the blade that had pierced him, and began suturing his wound. In a bold attempt, I summoned a shadow clone to employ the healing prowess of Mystical Palm, attempting to address any internal damage. My vigilance remained unwavering, but just as anticipation hung in the air, boom! The reverberations of a colossal explosion filled my ears, drawing my gaze towards a towering tanuki, positioned roughly 3 kilometers, 1.8 miles, distant. Astonishingly, its arm plummeted to the ground, severed as though by a decisive strike. The battlefield continued to unfold with a myriad of challenges, and I steeled myself for what lay ahead, prepared to confront the relentless trials yet to come. In an unexpected turn of events, a colossal slug emerged at the far edge of the battlefield, unleashing a torrent of acidic destruction upon the sand ninja guarding their wounded and medical personnel. Tragically, all succumbed to the onslaught, leaving a grim aftermath in its wake. However, the gargantuan slug diminished in size, birthing smaller yet substantial slugs that veered toward the Konoha ninja, providing healing support and assistance. As my gaze shifted, I observed 5 puppets soaring towards the Ichibi, but just as swiftly, the colossal tanuki dissolved into fine grains of sand. Amidst the chaos, a group of Konoha shinobi emerged, bearing the weight of an elderly man, undoubtedly a key player in this conflict. The sand ninja, through a well-coordinated signal, initiated their retreat, leaving behind a jounin who had pursued the puppeteer. He returned to my side, carrying the severed head of his vanquished foe, accompanied by a slug coiled around his body. His gaze oscillated between me and the towering slug stationed across the battlefield, as he uttered, "So the plan was a success." Though taken aback by his revelation, I realized I should have anticipated it. Konoha had orchestrated a plan to cripple the sand forces, an intricate strategy known only to the jounin Kada. The slug around his form slithered down, diligently attending to the healing of my faithful ninkin, Shiro. Offering a nod of gratitude, I signaled my clone to disperse, allowing a portion of my chakra to replenish. However, my reserves now dwindled to a mere 15%, leaving me fatigued and drained. Yet, the battle persisted, with the remaining sand ninja valiantly buying time for their comrades' escape. I maintained close proximity to the towering slug, adamant not to risk any unnecessary dangers. Notably, my chakra sense had sharpened, now encompassing a radius of 15 meters, 49.2, around me, without the need for active concentration. With focused effort, I could extend its reach to approximately 30 meters, 98.4. As we made our way back to camp, I positioned myself in the center of our group, ever watchful for any potential sneak attacks. The healing slug continued to wrap around me, diligently tending to Shiro's injuries. While the likelihood of an assault remained slim, I refused to lower my guard. Upon reaching the camp, a genin approached, beckoning me and informing me of a jounin's request to meet at the jounin tents. Curiosity piqued, I ventured to the designated location, finding the jounin who had assisted me against the puppeteer. Waving me over, he greeted me warmly and proposed, "Hey, mind sparing a moment? I mean, I did help you after all. I won't be unfair. The ninja we eliminated had a bounty worth 10 million yen. So I'll give you a 20% share of the reward, considering my current good mood. My portion would amount to 2 million ryo, a substantial sum that could secure a modest apartment in Konoha." His proposal continued, "If you agree, I'll also impart all the C-rank fire jutsu I know, along with a selection of wing jutsu. Impress me, and I might even throw in a B-rank technique. By the way, kid, you're not very skilled at haggling." Perplexed, I realized I hadn't even attempted to negotiate. Nevertheless, I remained indifferent to the monetary aspect, for survival held greater importance. With a nod of acceptance, he handed me a check worth 1 million ryu, instructing me to cash it upon my arrival in Konoha. A smile crossed his face as he added, "Well, since I'm feeling generous, allow me to explain how things operate around here." And thus, the jounin commenced an insightful explanation, shedding light on the infrequency of battles like the one we had witnessed yesterday. Such intense conflicts occurred only once every 2 or 3 months. In considering the staggering losses suffered by the sand, it might be an even rarer occurrence. He elaborated on the prevalence of skirmishes primarily focused on disrupting supply lines, often initiated by scouting parties. Engrossed in his narration, I absorbed the knowledge imparted, preparing myself for the intricate dynamics of this war-torn world. In this intricate theater of war, the movement of significant attacking forces rarely goes unnoticed. The presence of spies, vigilant summons, and diligent scouts ensures that such maneuvers are swiftly detected. As a result, the majority of battles involve skirmishes between chunin scouts or a jounin leading a squad of capable chunin. The role of genin, on the other hand, often revolves around menial tasks within the camp, akin to D-rank missions. Their primary involvement in major battles is as cannon fodder, a grim reality underscored by the modest pay of approximately 1,000 to 5,000 ryo per chore. During our conversation, Chaku enlightened me about the intricacies of bounties as well. He explained that bounties ranging from 5 million to 15 million ryo signify Jounin level targets. Elite Jounin fall within the 15 million to 50 million ryo range, while S-class ninjas command bounties exceeding 50 million ryo. Tsunade Sensei, aptly nicknamed Slug Princess Tsunade, carries a bounty of 57 million ryo, a sum likely to be augmented after she clashed with Hanzo. Chaku even lightened the mood by jesting about his own 13 million ryo bounties, wistfully longing for the wealth he could amass. He shared his plans to claim the bounties of all the Jounin he vanquishes during this war, dreaming of a future where he could start a family. Amidst his loquacious nature, I couldn't help but marvel at his volubility. Time skip. 1 month later, following my initial encounter with Chaku, our subsequent meetings became routine over the past month. Employing shadow clones, I swiftly assimilated all of his C-rank fire jutsu in a mere 18 days, streamlining their hand seals to a minimalistic 2. Impressed by my progress, he even imparted his fire-style fire missile jutsu. Additionally, I delved into the realm of wind ninjutsu, mastering 3 C-rank techniques, and deftly reducing their hand seals to a single gesture. Shiro, my loyal ninkin, had recovered splendidly under the diligent care of the healing slug. Though I hadn't displayed overt concern when he was injured, his loyalty remained unwavering. After all, a dog's faithfulness knows no bounds, especially when its life has been saved. However, the present moment interrupted my musings. A message arrived from a genin, summoning me to the Jounin meeting tent. Obliging the request, I entered the grand tent, taking in the sight before me. Approximately 35 Jounin occupied the space, their number reduced by the 10 fallen warriors from the battle, and an additional 5 lost during recent skirmishes. Positioned at the head of the assembly stood Tsukumo, Tsunade, and an unfamiliar female Jounin, exuding a sense of boredom. Tsunade's eyes brimmed with pride. Tsukumo unfurled a scroll, its contents immediately capturing our attention. With a clear voice, he proclaimed, "By the order of Hokujiyami Inuzuka, the genin from the village hidden in the leaves known as Narasimba is hereby promoted to Chunin." I was escorted out of the tent by Tsunade, her expression adorned with a smile. She uttered, "Well, kid, I must say I'm quite proud of you. Originally, you were to be promoted after the battle, but considering you were a genin for a mere week and a half, they postponed it. Now that you're a Chunin, I'd like to grant you something you desire, within reason of course." Initially tempted to request the slug's summoning contract, the scarcity of slugs during these wartime circumstances deterred me from doing so. Instead, a realization struck me. Mito Uzumaki, Tsunade's grandmother, was known to possess unique knowledge. With feigned excitement, I beamed and asked in a childlike voice, "Do you have a super duper strong explosive tag?" Tsunade pondered for a moment before retrieving a storage scroll. With a flicker, she produced a solitary explosive tag, one imbued with even greater potency. She cautioned me, "This is an enhanced explosive tag crafted by my grandmother, the wife of the first Hokage. It activates instantly upon infusing chakra into it, while forming a one-handed tiger sign. Exercise extreme caution and ensure you're far away when utilizing it." Now, it was time to play the role of an eager student, striving to become Tsunade's favorite and secure the promise of learning her secret medical ninjutsu, yet to be developed. I embraced her, expressed gratitude, and whispered, "Thank you, Tsunade-sensei." Her smile widened as she affectionately patted my head. Time skip. 1 month later, during the past month, my focus remained on refining the Shunshin technique until it reached a state of readiness for battle. While emulating Shisui's mastery seemed near impossible without the aid of the shuriken, I devised a strategy. Utilizing my ninkin's acute sense of smell, I trained to follow a specific scent, allowing me to shunshin to my faithful companion. Though not as precise, it served as a viable escape technique. After all, substitution required a second to complete even without hand signs, while shunshin without hand signs was instantaneous. However, I experienced a slight disorientation for 2 to 3 seconds after executing the technique. Time skip. 1 month later, to satisfy my curiosity, I dedicated the past month to studying Jinjutsu. I managed to learn a few techniques, and even devised my variation of the demonic illusion. Tree binding death called demonic illusion. Dog binding. This Jinjutsu depicted the illusion of dogs restraining the target with their biting, reminiscent of Kakashi's encounter with Zabuza. While the original Jinjutsu was of B-rank caliber, my creation manifested as a C-rank Jinjutsu, lacking the same potency. It seemed to be the only known Inuzuka Jinjutsu. With newfound knowledge, I ventured on scouting missions independently, accompanied by my trusted team members Asutori and Assume, as well as 2 additional Chunin. Reluctant to include them initially, I obliged Tsunade-sensei's request to provide them with valuable experience. Over this month both Asutori and Assume had grown stronger, reaching Chunin level competence. Our encounters with Suna Chunin proved relatively straightforward, and our team dynamics improved significantly. Time skip. 1 month later, the dire situation in the Land of Rain compelled Tsunade-sensei's presence on the battlefield, where we had suffered heavy losses against Hanzo the Salamander. Meanwhile, my current mission involved escorting my regular team to retrieve crucial supplies from a confidential merchant. Upon arrival, the merchant greeted us warmly, exclaiming, "Hey, guys, back for another haul." I reciprocated with a smile and nod, approaching him closely. Suddenly, I swiftly drew a kunai and aimed for his throat. As blood spilled, the merchant transformed into a sand ninja, a covert signal that had gone unspoken. At that moment, I sensed the presence of 23 chakra signatures materializing in the surrounding trees. Without hesitation, our enemies launched projectiles toward us. Reacting swiftly, I grabbed hold of Asutori and Assume by their shirts, pulling them back. Tragically, the 2 other Chunin in our group fell victim to the projectiles before they could even react. Based on their chakra signatures, our adversaries consisted of 6 Jounin and 17 Chunin. As our thrilling journey through the world of the Inuzuka clan comes to a close, we hope you enjoyed every moment of Yami Inuzuka's quest for survival and greatness. The Naruto universe is vast, filled with endless possibilities and captivating characters. We want to express our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Your support and engagement have made this experience truly memorable. But the journey doesn't end here, fellow shinobi. There's so much more to explore in the world of Naruto, and we're excited to continue bringing you engaging content that sparks your imagination and keeps your ninja spirit burning bright. Remember to stay connected with us by smashing that like button, subscribing to our channel, and hitting that notification bell. By doing so, you'll never miss out on our latest videos that will transport you to the captivating world of Shinobi. Thank you once again for being a part of our Shinobi family. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep embracing the extraordinary. This is Omna Sensei, signing off.
Never tell a fact that I never stay running. Sipping on facts, damn, no, I got stacks to the left. Taking bitches straight for another cat.